To business news now, regional audit firm PKF Kenya has called on the government to develop a consistent tax policy to ensure that all sectors know what to expect each year ahead of the Finance Bill 2023, which was tabled before the National Assembly last week. According to PKF Tax Director James Muli, certain changes expected by taxpayers in the bill include the exemption of liquefied petroleum gas (LPG) from value-added tax and levies, and fast-tracking of the tax refund process. Kenya's tax code has been termed complex and bulky by many stakeholders, including manufacturers and SMEs, requiring firms to employ tax planners, tariff engineers, lawyers, and specific accountants to render professional advice. Now, the bill that has received opposition from various legislators comes after a lot of speculations by taxpayers, lobbying by business associations, and speeches of promises from government officials.
The issue of turnover tax is an issue that any upcoming business would want to take up because it's a simplified tax, as opposed to having to account for taxes and the expenses and all that. And turnover tax has existed for a very long time, and it has been the incentive for small businesses and medium businesses to actually comply with tax. So the proposal to actually narrow that net for turnover tax, we think should be relooked, because then what is the encouragement for a small business to come forth and declare taxes when basically if it's turnover of above 15 million, then they'll be required to pay tax at a higher rate, although they'll be allowed the expenses for the same. But the challenges and the difficulties that comes with having to account for expenses against income is another issue. And you see, that issue also speaks to the fact that generally the taxation regime in Kenya seems to be very complex. And we always keep talking about the government needs to increase the tax base. But then the question is, even if the tax base is increased, how does a common business, a small business on the street, remit taxes? They will need access to the internet. They will need access to iTax platform. Is there maybe a simplified way where every Kenyan can do a form of declaration and make tax payments without having to go through the whole loop of a very complex automated system?